What do you say? What do you know? It's the Full Monty Sports Show. It is Monday, October 18th, 2021. I am your host, Monty Perez, aka The Sports Whisperer. You can follow me on social media on Twitter, MontyJP231, Facebook, Monty Perez, TikTok, Monty Perez231, and on Instagram, Monty Perez 2. Take the half hour just to, get all my social media handles out there. I want to thank everyone for watching yesterday. We had 34 states tune into the Full Monty Sports Show. Appreciate the support. Please keep the comments coming. Make sure that we subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel. And of course, give this episode a thumbs up. Give this episode a thumbs up. Look, we have some breaking news right now. Just before I came on the air, some breaking news in the NFL. This is probably going to shock a lot of people because it definitely shocked me. Just came out that the Jets were the first team in the history of the NFL to have a bye week, and still be a 10-point underdog. So, the Jets and Zach Wilson, the first quarterback in the history of the NFL to throw an interception on his bye week. And people ask me, and the reason why I bring this up, obviously I'm joking, but the reason why I bring this up is someone asked me, why don't you watch the Jet games on Sunday? I'm like, dude, I'm depressed enough. I don't need that other level of depression. The Jets haven't been to a Super Bowl since 1969. Can I take a red pill or a blue pill and just forget about the Jets' history? Because they've been awful. Other than that, been a good week. The Packers won. Cleveland lost. Vikings won. Let's bring on our two co-hosts. Let's bring on Brad Ward. Let's bring on A-Marie. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. A-Marie, how are you?
I'm here. Hi.
I just saw your picture there. I didn't know it was happening.
I'm not that happy with my win, but a win's a win, huh?
Listen, the Vikings played good ball yesterday. I mean, they dominated that whole game. I mean, that was amazing.
I'll get into why I'm not happy, but yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll get into that. But remember this, it's always better to win ugly than lose pretty, right? And I was thinking this yesterday. I was like, how can anyone not drink, meditate, or go crazy watching this Viking team? A-Marie, let's start with you. Every week, it's drama, it's overtime, it's a missed field goal. I mean, how was your emotional roller coaster?
I always tell Kyle, I'm like, all right, like if I want to just maybe not drink every Sunday, maybe be healthy and detox, but that's not going to happen for my life as a Vikings fan. It's never going to happen. Was happy with the team, very happy where we're at. It's just, I know everyone's quick to blame the quarterback or the coach, but this conservative play calling, I just can't take anymore. I can't take it. I don't want to take. I want to be an optimistic fan, which I am, and focus on the positive. Our defense, even though 28 points, even though the last touchdown should have happened, and the special teams, they blocked a punt, got a touchdown, so that's 14 points. But the defense played really well yesterday. Kirk Cousins is looking so good. Dalvin Cook ran the ball well. A lot of penalties, though. I will say that. A lot of penalties. But
I will say this.
But Zimmer's on the ice. And I understand, like, you can't play so conservative. I'm over it. If you want to win, if you want to settle for being 9-8 every year, well, now we have 17, whatever, 9 and whatever. Stop playing so conservative. Coach Zimmer, like, seriously, like, you're already setting us up to lose or failure instead of having confidence on getting a first down. If we run it for 2 yards on 3rd and 20 one more time, I swear to God, there's going to be an outage of bourbon in this town. I can't take it anymore. I can't. This has been my whole life, 35 years. Like, stop conservative play calling. You have a good defense that's getting good again, and you have a high-powered offense. Stop it!
Well, it's
once again a missed field goal. Sorry. Okay, that's my rant for today.
No, It's funny you bring that up because going into this game, by the way, I pick every game. If my guests come on, for example, if you guys come on my Sunday show, I would not pick the Browns. I would not pick the Vikings. I let the guests do that. But I pick every game. I'm 52-21 picking games on the year. The only game I lost yesterday was the Viking game. And here's why I thought something had to give. Going into this game, the Carolina Panthers were number one in pass defense, only allowing 184 yards per game. But the Vikings threw for 373 yards. Is it just they're conservative until their backs are up against the wall?
Yeah. And we had 571 yards in offense. And Kirk got the job done once again. We are very lucky, though. Let's look at the other side of the ball. The Panthers, I know Christian McCaffrey, love him. So glad he wasn't in yesterday. But also, they weren't running the ball, and Hubbard's a good running back. They didn't run the ball, and their wide receivers couldn't catch anything yesterday. Sam Darnold was turning the ball over. But
there was a lot of drops. The wide receivers didn't show up yesterday.
They could not catch anything. Thank you. But, yeah. But we're So that was a very kind of got to win game. I feel like the Panthers and Vikings are kind of like, are they good? Or the Vikings are always good. We just settle for mediocrity every year. Every year.
So is it safe to say that you're done with your head coach?
I'm done because you wonder why we leave our wonderful offensive coordinators every year. There is something and also Coach Zimmer tries just let your coordinators do their job. Stop trying to run the whole show. And I'm thankful for Zimmer. It was fun. I mean, I'm just done. I'm done.
Well, I got to be honest with you.
Done too.
When they missed the field goal and then they went into overtime, this is my thing with overtime, and I'll get into this with the Patriots. You just got to be aggressive in overtime. And they passed the ball. It was a great throw. They drove down the field like nothing in overtime. So when they got
that no huddle, aggressive, non-conservative, high-power offense, kill the team, kill them, run them in the ground. That's how we should be playing all freaking. We started playing prevent defense with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I hate that. Run them in the ground.
Zimmer knew every play that Brady was going to call yesterday. What's going on with your Panthers? I mean, it was ridiculous. I swear he ran the same play 4 times, Monty. The Panthers are going, they're falling off here.
I mean, listen, the Panthers were my surprise team. They're 3-3. They're a whole different animal when Christian McCaffrey's in the game. Even on a bad day, he's getting you 70 passing yards, 70 rushing yards. Not to take anything away from the Vikings.
They say that about Dalvin Cook, too, but then when Dalvin Cook's not in, Madison runs for 150 yards, so Hubbard could probably do that, too. That was awful play calling by the Panthers yesterday, and I will say that. I'm happy.
Yeah, listen, it was bad.
I think Joe Brady's looking at the LSU job because Ed Orgeron's gone out of LSU. He won't be returning.
These damn coaches, too. Can you be – God.
All right. So, A-Marie, again, it's always better to win ugly. But, again, your emotional roller coaster. You need a day off on Monday just to recover because every Viking game goes down to the wire.
It's not even like a hangover. It's just I'm just exhausted.
It's exhausting. It is.
All right, Brad, let's talk to you. 37-14, the worst game that they played. You're never as bad as your worst loss. You're never as good as your best win. But if it wasn't for that Hail Mary pass, it was basically 37-7, lights out. What happened, Brad? What went wrong?
Well, they came out flat. They're very dinged up, missing both of their tackles and Nick Chubb, not making excuses. They played poorly from the start, but they came out really flat. Baker is not right. I mean, he's not right. They lost Hunt for weeks. They lost Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah for a couple weeks. Baker is getting a second opinion on his shoulder today. They are just beat up to all hell after that Chargers game, and then coming into this game, and they came out flat. I don't know what was going on with the analytics thing. Let me talk on this for a second. And going for it on fourth down, that's great, right? I understand that if you can convert it. But they go down there and they get in the red zone so often and leave with 0 points. So often, Monty, it drives me insane.
Yeah,
it has to be demoralizing.
Take 3 points, right?
Just take the fucking points I'm sorry. Take the freaking points sometime.
Oh, we understand.
There goes. There we go. Take the freaking points sometime. And it's awful. It's brutal. You know what I mean? They go down there. I don't know what's going on with that. Baker will not, he's not, something is wrong with him. Okay, you can tell me it's his shoulder, but then he threw a freaking Hail Mary down the field 60 yards. So he got enough torque and arm on it to do that. But when he gets to the top of his drop and there's open receivers, he won't let it go. He won't throw it. There's a couple third downs where there's guys running wide open on drag routes. He just won't throw the ball. I don't know if it's like they've coached him so much to like not turn over the ball that he's not throwing it, like, or whatever, too conservative. But if you can't find a middle ground between turning it over like crazy, like you did in his really bad year in 2019, and, not turning it over at all, there's a middle ground there, right? Like, you still have to have some of that gunslinger in you, and it's been missing. It's been missing the last couple weeks. The defense bailed him out twice. The run game was dominant last week. And when they don't have both tackles or Nick Chubb, and they had to limit even the touches that Kareem Hunt got, and that didn't even work because he still got injured. I mean, it's not great right now. It's really not. And they got to turn around and play in a couple days with, I don't know who they're going to be able to run out on the field. Go ahead.
Hey, Marie?
I just have a question for Brad because I'm very curious because I've been in this situation as a Vikings fan where you have these weapons. I know you're hurt right now, but obviously run heavy offense, a great defense. And then you have someone like Baker Mayfield. But I feel like he's a system quarterback. I feel like he could fit well in your system. But my question to you, and we talked about this a lot on my radio show today. Do you think you should pay him? I'm just curious from a Browns fan perspective because I've heard it from everyone but Browns fans. So I was very excited to see you today, as usual. But
I'm
you
not.
either got to pay him or not, or franchise tag him. I'm just curious.
I'm not convinced either way yet, to be honest, Marie.
Okay.
Okay, so a lot of people are like, just pay him $32 million, but that's not the way it works. The market is $40 million. He's either going to get $40 million or he's not going to be your quarterback, right? Or you're going to franchise tag him, which I think is the worst thing you can do. I really hate when they franchise tag quarterbacks. I think it's not great. I thought, look at how much money the Cowboys cost themselves, right?
Right.
So, of course, you can kick the can doing it that way, but ideally, we would like to see him come on in the second half again, like he did last year, and be able to go. If he gets him a couple rounds into the playoffs, I think you got to pay him. Not everybody is going to be Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes. You can win with guys like Baker Mayfield. So
and Case Keenum took a second.
Right. Well,
we have the run game
Case
and the
on
defense.
Thursday.
Right.
Yes.
But I will say this, too. You bring up a good point. Not everyone can be those elite quarterbacks. You just can't have it. But Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo went to a Super Bowl. You could get Baker Mayfield to a Super Bowl, but right now, the way it's constituted, look, we'll talk about Big Ben a little bit. He's so bad, it's not even funny. His passer rating is 88, which is like 28th in the league. With those weapons, it's a shame what Big Ben is doing. His arm is shot. But, Brad, do you want to pay a guy $40 million who right now may be the third best quarterback in your division? And it's not a shot at him. It's just Joe Burrow appears to be a stud, and Lamar Jackson, no one can figure him out.
It's not about that, though. You can't compare it to your division because I think, honestly, they match up well with the teams in their division. Okay. I think they'll do fine when they get into division play. I think they'll beat the Bengals, although they look really good right now. I think they'll beat the Steelers. It's just the Ravens and the Browns. I think the Browns and the Ravens are the best two in the division.
The Ravens almost lost the Lions, but beat the crap out of the Chargers.
We'll talk about that.
Ever.
That was really fluky. The Ravens have had a really fluky season. Let's be real. But the problem is this, right? This goes to the core of your question, Amory, about Baker Mayfield, right? So yesterday was a really good example. Offensive line is banged up. Not everything is fine. Jarvis Landry's missing. Nick Chubb's missing. So in those situations, when he's on a $40 million contract, this roster isn't going to be as talented as it is right now, right?
Like 100%, so when it's Brad.
Right? So when it's not like it is now, and you don't have this perfect offensive line and elite defense, which has been playing like crap, but this talented defense and the weapons on the outside and the dual running backs, and all that doesn't exist because you can't pay them all because you're getting $40 million is your right arm enough to go win you games on some Sundays? And yesterday he got put in a position where that was the situation, and he fell flat on his face. He has to prove, in order to earn that money, to me, he has to prove that he can go out and win you games sometimes just himself.
Yeah, that's a great point, Brad, because if you are going to, like you said, the market, listen, if I'm Baker Mayfield, let's say the Browns go 11-5 and they get to the second round, they lose. He has a decent year. If I'm Baker Mayfield, right now he's got all those commercial endorsements, and I don't want to say, hey, don't make as much money as you can. This is a sport where the average NFL player lasts 3 years. Make as much money as you can. But if he wants to be successful, if he wants to keep all those pieces around him, he can't ask for $40 million.
It's the hard. I see. I totally disagree. I mean, I'm always going to disagree on this. I'm always going to be an advocate of the player taking the most money that they can, and it's like, because we can't put ourselves in that situation. But it's not just them that they have to take the most money for, Monty. It's all of the other players. Like like Tom Brady. People look at him for taking less money. Like, you're killing us, right? Like, anybody that can advance that market, you're hurting your fellow player. So every player, it's their duty to go get as much money as you possibly can, so the next guy can get as much money as he's possibly can. It's not the NBA. It's not all guaranteed. It's the NFL. It's different.
Right. As a matter of fact, I remember Magic Johnson. I was young, but he took a pay cut, and then the NBA Players Association said your contract, you can restructure it, but you can't take a pay cut. And Patrick Ewing, who was a big voice, and I was like, wait a minute, Magic Johnson is doing this so the Lakers can win. And Patrick Ewing was like, no, we're not having this. We're not having, players take less money and redo their deal. So I get your point. The point is, if he does that, you lower the market value on what someone else is worth. Okay, I get that point. So Andrew brings Andrew. Good.
Last thing, Browns defense been really bad, right? Safeties have been really bad. I don't know what's going on. Blown coverages again. Happened against the Chargers. Happened again yesterday, multiple times. Ronnie Harrison has been terrible. Joe Woods is absolutely getting crapped on in the city on talk radio on the daily. They're trying to run him out of town. It's a little early for that. But, if your guys can't understand the concepts of quarters defense, then don't play freaking quarters defense, right? Play something else. Play, you're great in cover 3. Why? I don't know why they've gone to this quarters defense. It's like wide around the league. Everybody's doing it now. Everybody's keying on it. We're going to make you throw in front of us and we're matriculate the ball down the field. But they can't do it. They're busting coverage every other play. It happened twice again yesterday. It's embarrassing with the amount of talent they have on that side of the ball. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest about on the defensive side of the ball. It's really bad. It's really bad. I mean, they looked great against the Vikings, great against the Bears. But since then, I mean, look at what Herbert did to him, and then yesterday, Kyler Murray. 2 elite quarterbacks, I'll give you that, but still.
So my question to you is, did the Chargers find something that Arizona duplicated in watching those games where you're like, wow, there's a weakness, and now teams are starting to exploit it?
I mean, there's definitely a weakness in the back end of the secondary. I mean, you've got Delpit and Ronnie Harrison and John Johnson III, who's a heck of a player, but really hasn't played that well since he came to Cleveland. It's just poor communication. It's taking a lot of time for them to develop that communication. The numbers are really skewed. They're ranked like 5th defense in the NFL based on yardage or whatever. They're not that good right now. Their front 4 is terrific, but they are struggling on the back end. Even their corners are okay. It's just the safeties, who are supposed to be really good. Their 3 really good safeties are playing very poorly right now.
Yeah, I remember talking in the preseason where we're like, wow, they really improved that weakness. And you're telling me that it's been a disaster.
I mean, the last 2 weeks it has been blown coverage left and right. Same thing happened with Mike Williams, happened in the red zone with DeAndre Hopkins yesterday, standing all alone in the back of the end zone.
All right, so we'll get more to that and what the Browns need to do Thursday. I want to talk a little bit about the Packers' victory. Look, the Packers won 24-14 over the Bears. They've now won 19-22 against the Bears. But there is a trend here.
Sorry.
Amory's face alone when I talk about the Packers is priceless. Okay, So there's a problem here that I have with the Packers, okay? And I get what Aaron Rodgers could, but listen to this, right? Aaron Jones ran the ball 13 times for 78 yards, 5.8 yards per carry. To me, they didn't rush him enough. Also, Devontae Adams has 46 catches. The next wide receiver has 11. I mean, think about that. 46. Aaron Jones has 21 catches. He's a running back. The next wide receiver on the Packers has 11 catches.
Yeah, I'm sure all fantasy owners are feeling the same way right now.
This is a two-team. That's all. It's a two-guy thing, and I don't know how they keep winning. Anytime Devontae Adams, they need a third down, it's like he's triple team. He's wide open all of a sudden. I don't know how he does it, but the Packers are 5-1 and they're playing well, but they are basically Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Devontae. I mean, think about that. I have people on social media tell me, oh, they got Robert Tonyan. They said, what's the guy they just signed? Aaron Rodgers wanted the wide receiver. Aaron Rodgers wanted him to bring back. I'll tell you right now. Hang on. His name
Randall
Cobb. Randall Cobb. Right? They're like, oh, they have Alan Lazard. 46 catches for Adams, 11 for Randall Cobb.
I do like Tanyan. They do have a good offensive line. And I do like A.J. Dillon. I honestly think that A.J. Dillon and what's his face are probably like the third best running back duo in the NFL.
100%. And I don't mind A.J. Dillon giving Aaron Jones a spell here and there. He's a power runner. He's got deceptively better speed than you think for a big guy. But come on, man. When you play elite teams and they double team Adams, I mean, 46-11. Guys, it's not even close. And this is why Aaron Rodgers wants to get the hell out of Dodge. He looks at Brad. You just saw Arizona.
Can't wait until Devontae and Aaron leave this division next year.
I mean, Brad, you saw this with Marie. You have 2-3 wide receivers deep. Brad, you saw Arizona. You saw the Chargers. When you're healthy, you have 2-3. They don't have anyone. It's Devontae Adams. Once in a blue moon, Lazard will have 2 catches, or Cobb will come up with a third down conversion. But it's terrible to watch. It's Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams every play. So I'm worried. They're 5-1, but I'm worried.
Yeah, somebody's got. I mean, nobody stopped it yet. I mean, so.
Oh, they're still 5-1. Yay!
They are 5-1. Okay, let's move on. Marie, Chiefs 3-3 beat the 2-4 Washington football team. Can I just say this? It's bad enough that Washington football team doesn't have a name, but they have a W on their helmet. Can we just change that to the L? Because if they're not winning any games. I
can't believe how big of a bust this defense is. And I'm not saying versus the opponents they are playing. I just can't believe how big of a bust this Washington football team. Sorry, I still call them the Redskins. Cancel me. I mean, 490. Chiefs are not the Chiefs right now. I mean,
they're not.
Mahomes can still get away with stuff. He can still like shovel and it works. I'm like, I don't understand how that works. But
I don't think he's 100%. I don't think he's 100%.
And the Chiefs defense is trash. So, yeah. But they had 499 yards against the Washington
football team's defense. It's like Ron Rivera is a defensive-minded guy. Like you figure no matter what, his defense is going to look good. They're horrible.
Can I just say that the Washington football organization is a classless organization completely? Yes. Like what was this stuff with the I cannot believe that they did this with Sean Taylor on this weekend. Like after everything with the emails and what is going? There's no way that the ownership there should be.
Theories. That's why they didn't take away from.
I know, but it's ridiculous.
But Sean Taylor deserves better.
Patrick Mahomes' brother danced on Sean Taylor's number on TikTok. Yeah. I mean, it was just a disaster.
It was a disaster.
But I'm just saying, not as a fantasy owner, but I just can't believe how much of a bust this defense has been. But on the other hand, they also do have offensive weapons. And is Taylor Heineke the real thing? I think we were so excited about him after that playoff game last season. Don't think he's a bad quarterback. Don't know if Tannehill's
no.
coming back, how the hip is. He's an old man. He's not on the Tom Brady diet. So, like, I don't know what they're going to do. They're a mess. They're a mess. And the Chiefs are a mess, too.
The Chiefs look much better in the second half. And I still think as long as you have Tyreek Hill.
They're weird right now. They're weird. Yes. They find a way, but they're weird.
They could really use Curtis Samuel back right now. That offense.
True. And I like Antonio Gibson. I freaking like that guy. And I thought
they have good weapons on offense.
They screwed me over in fantasy this year, so I just I thought they were going to be really good this year, and I know
I thought they were too. I thought they
were going to win 10 or 11 games. I thought they were going to win 10 or 11 games. All right, Brad. Listen, you got to be happy watching this, even though they won. I'm watching this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Ben Roethlisberger he's horrible. He's missed so many wide receivers. He can't throw the ball down the field. It's really everything's a check down.
And he probably played his best half of football in the first half of that game all year. And that's how sad that is. That you come away. I mean, it's bad. It was a tale of two halves, right? He played decent in the first half. Everything's checked down. Everything's Najee Harris. They take a couple deep shots here and there. But, the Seahawks went almost like their game plan was like, okay, we got Geno Smith at quarterback, so we're going to go out and we're going to play as conservative as we possibly can and see if we can stay in this game till the end, right? And then at halftime they were like, we'll let Geno throw it around a little bit. We're down by 14 or whatever it was. He did a hell of a job. They came back. They got in it. They tied it up. This really was a game of two, teams that are not very good at right now at this moment. Like they both have pretty good defenses with pretty poor offenses right now, to be honest. And that's kind of what it came down to is that T.J. Watt sacked a terrible offensive line of the Seahawks, got back there, caused a fumble, and they won another freaking game on the back of their defense. But I don't know how long that's sustainable. Ben, keep them in there. Keep them upright till the Browns get a couple of games against them. Come on.
Listen, it's my friend Rico who does our betting picks. He said something that was really sad. He goes, what's going to happen is they're not going to say, Ben, you're done. He's going to say he has an injury for the betterment of the team. But, I mean, man, we've watched this. I heard Jimmy Johnson talking about the last days of Dan Marino, too, where a player becomes bigger than the team and you don't know what to do with him. But can you imagine, forget about their offensive line, it's not that great. Can you imagine if Aaron Rodgers had this lineup around him, the amount of points? How many times does Big Ben throw a ball and it's 5 yards short, or he misses the guy on a quick in? He's terrible, man.
A lot of talented wide receivers there in Pittsburgh, not getting the ball very much. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what their plan is going forward, but they can't maintain what they're doing right now. Matt Canada was supposed to be the answer, but I'm not really sure what the hell they're running.
No,
to be honest,
it's like they have no identity on offense whatsoever.
No.
And let me just say this: I don't like to really, especially on this show. I may do it with my friends or when I'm watching a game. I don't like to do this on my show to call out announcers because they are obviously much more successful than I am right now, which is fine. But Chris Collinsworth yesterday was talking about Williams, the defensive end for Seattle. And
he talking about Aaron Rodgers the whole time?
No. But he goes, this guy Williams has 4 sacks. No one else has 1. And I'm anxious to see if he's the real deal or if people weren't blocking him. And I tweeted out, Chris, you are part of ownership of Pro Football Focus. You have access to film. Like, watch film on the guy. Do you not prepare for the game? He's like, I want to see if this guy's the real deal because I don't know if he has 4
doing
sacks.
something inappropriate to Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, I can't stand that guy. Sorry.
Yeah. Collinsworth is, he's okay. So sometimes he just is. He gets caught up talking too much. He just needs to be more concise in his thoughts. But, I would agree with you that he and he does have access to all of that. But the interesting thing about the announcers is I lost my train of thought there for a minute, so I apologize that I rambled on. The interesting about the announcers is that I notice every week is that even Fox, CBS, they're A, B, C teams, right? You get a glimpse of them all if you watch the Red Zone, whatever. You would think that they would take the time to learn the players' names. A couple weeks ago, Kirksey was on the Browns again when he's really on the other team. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, it's absurd, right? They're calling people's names that are hurt. They're mixing up numbers. It's only your job, right? You only have to do it once a week. Point. I mean, come on.
That's what I mean. I got 10 pages of notes for every one of my shows. Chris Collinsworth, he said, and I couldn't believe he said it. He goes, I'm anxious to see if this guy's a real deal, or they just weren't blocking him, or he was. I was like, dude, watch game film. What do you prepare for the show? All right, enough of that. Let's move on. The 1-5 Dolphins. Listen, no one cares about this game, but I will say this: the 1-5 Dolphins lost to the Jags. I had the Jags winning for no other reason than the fact that they've won 3 games in London, the most of any team. But here's the problem I have now. Everyone thought the Dolphins were going to be better. This was not Tua's fault. Tua didn't play bad. 33 for 47, 329 yards. He didn't play bad. Trevor Lawrence played pretty good, 25 for 41, but the Dolphins are awful, man. The Dolphins are really bad. Their draft picks aren't working out. And everyone thought that this coaching staff, after last year, was going to take it to the next level. It's a disaster here in Florida.
Well, they lost so many players. They were good last year.
Between the Miami Hurricanes and Dolphins, it's a disaster.
Do they want to fire the coach? Is that what they're saying now? Have they turned on him that quick? Because he was the crown jewel last year.
It's not that they want to fire him. It's just the personnel, the draft picks that they've made, and it came out that they wanted to get Justin Herbert too. So when Tua keeps getting hurt, that doesn't help. But you cannot get out-coached by Urban Meyer on a neutral site in London. You cannot lose that game, man. You just can't.
Well, Urban needed that win. Believe me. Believe me.
Well, and I think the nearest strip club for Urban Meyer in London was 90 miles away, so he wasn't distracted as he is in Jacksonville or when he goes back home. But again, if you're the Miami Dolphins, you can't lose to Jacksonville. Come on, man. You got more talent than them. You should be able to win this game. Terrible, terrible loss. I
think the Dolphins. I think in the long run, the Dolphins are going to get Deshaun Watson. They're going to wait this thing out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, hey Marie.
You can't do it.
No, I'm just saying. I looked up all the court dates and stuff, and just well, that's a whole different story. We'll get into another time. But
yeah, no, listen. There's a lot of baggage with him. But nothing. There's a reason why.
Yeah, you are correct. Or everyone always. My favorite part is when you need a quarterback, everyone resorts to pick up Nick Foles.
Yeah, Nick
Good
Foles.
One.
Who, by
Cam
the way,
Newton.
I always
the call.
I always say this. Nick Foles had 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions when he started after week 4 for Chip Kelly in the Eagles. So he had 1 year where he was dominant. 27-2.
He had a defense in the running game.
Yeah, I remember that year too. But I think I was 6 or 7. Yeah. I'm not sure.
I was 17.
Okay. Yeah. Hey Marie, the Rams 5-1 destroyed the Giants 38-11.
But did they destroy them? That's an interesting little. They did destroy them, but if you look at the stats, it looked like you look at this, you're like, how was it? The Rams rammed it. By the way, if you guys haven't seen Ram It, when all those. When they made all those 80s music videos, Ram It by the Rams is hilarious.
Yes.
We played on a radio show because my co-host is a huge Rams fan. You should watch it. It is very entertaining and it's hilarious. Anyways, the Rams gave it to the Giants, a beat-up Giants team. But I got to tell you, if you looked at these stats, though, I mean, ugly game, but they rammed it to them. They rammed it to them. But
I will say this.
But turnovers, penalties. I mean, it was.
Oh my God!
Crazy.
Daniel Jones is just terrible. I mean, he's terrible. I hear all the time.
Oh, come
hey,
on.
Joe
Here
Judge,
you
He's
go
not
again with your
terrible.
New
He's
York
just
quarterback.
turnovers.
I
I
was going to
turnovers.
let the Zach Wilson cheap shots go before we even came on the air, but now you're
Okay.
coming at Daniel Jones, too. You
Yeah.
have such a bias against any New York quarterback. These guys are
Because he
not
sucks.
protected.
It's not a bias.
He's not.
They
He
both are
doesn't suck.
terrible.
He
He
didn't
doesn't
have
suck.
anyone. He has a
They
beat
have
up
nothing
team.
around them. They both have nothing around them.
Daniel
It's
Jones
like
is,
poor
other
Baker
than
right
Jameis
now.
Winston, no one has more fumbles or interceptions than Daniel Jones. No one.
He probably takes more hits than anybody in the NFL. I mean, come on, man. The guy can throw the football. Just it's.
The
I'm
poor
not saying
guy
it's
had to
gonna
throw
work.
the ball 50 plus times.
Yeah,
nothing
seriously. Like, how absurd is that? They're letting him throw the ball 50
right now. And I'm
times.
not defending him. I'm just saying the Rams whooped a beat up Giants team, and I don't think the Giants are that great. But I mean,
I don't think I thought the Giants were better than they are. They are beat up now, but like you saying the stuff about Daniel Jones, like when he has had a healthy line around him and he had Shepard and Slayton
Danny
healthy,
Dimes?
he was throwing the ball all over the place. Great. He's
he
throwing a
also
great
he's
ball.
mobile. He can
He's
rush.
Danny
He
Dimes.
can run the ball.
Daniel
But-
Jones was projected to be a third-round pick. The Giants moved up to draft him. He's been terrible. He's a turnover machine. I know you guys are saying the offensive line sucks,
He's been
and they do.
You know who
but
else is
he's
a turnover
terrible.
machine? Lamar Jackson.
They're 5-1.
Mahomes. I'm just like, if you want to talk about quarterbacks that turn over the ball, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, they all turn over the ball. They got a team.
You have
around
a
them.
bias towards New York quarterbacks.
No, I have a bias towards bad quarterbacks. That's what it
Oh
is.
my God.
That's what it is. All right, listen, and I will say this. If Daniel Jones doesn't win 6-7 games this year, he's a backup the rest of his life. It
No
was
way.
a terrible draft pick.
No way. Well, he'll get out of New York. He'll probably go someplace. He'll be a backup for a couple years.
Derek Carr.
Somebody will get injured, right? Somebody will get injured. Daniel Jones will come in, start throwing it all over the yard, and then he'll end up getting a starting job. He'll get a second chance. Everybody gets a second chance in the NFL.
Save this. He's a terrible quarterback. Okay, let's
Yeah,
move on.
save it. Write it down.
Bengals
Take a
4-2,
picture. I don't give a.
He other than Jameis Winston, he fumbles every time. A strong wind comes, the guy fumbles the ball.
Swift wind.
Okay. All right. Bengals 4-2, embarrass the
I don't agree
Lions.
with that.
I say this every week. I guess, biting kneecaps is not the way to go.
Or
Brad,
crying and crying at the podium. It didn't get the response it wanted, Monty. I guess not. I guess they didn't react the way that he thought to the tears. The tears did not generate the kind of response that Campbell had wanted. This has got to be the first guy fired in the NFL, right? I mean, besides Urban, of course, Urban.
That's good.
I mean, yeah, that's a given.
But Campbell,
Well,
did you
Twitter
see
was
how he
hot.
attacked off in the post game?
What?
yeah, he attacked Jared
attacked
Goff.
his
He said
quarterback
that he
in
needs
the
to do
first
more.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Goff has actually played pretty decent for compared to his time.
Well, he said in his press conference, Goff needs to do more. He needs to carry us at times. He needs to show more emotion. Listen, you go from
Show
LA.
more emotion. Show
Yeah.
more emotion. Yeah, that's it. That's what
Yeah.
he needs.
that's what he wants. He wants to, again, this guy's a rookie coach. It looks like he's just trying to throw everything against the wall to get a win. He says, we're going to bite kneecaps. Then he cries. Now he's calling out his starting quarterback. Like, dude, look in the mirror, man. Look at the. You know what Matt Rule said, because they said Sam Darnold has struggled over the last couple of weeks. You know what Matt Rule said? Matt Rule goes, "That's on me. I'm his coach, and I'm not coaching him well enough. So don't blame Sam. Blame me." And you have the Lions staff blaming Jared Goff.
Amory's back. Yeah, I mean
Okay.
he's terrible. Like you said, you just named all three things. Those are like your go-to things that you do, right? Like call out a star player on the team, crying at a press conference usually isn't one of them, but, raging at a press conference or doing something else. I mean, he's tried everything in the book, right, to elicit some sort of response from this team. The locker room is lost, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I do feel bad for Jared Goff because they really don't have a lot of wide receivers. They have good running backs. Sewell, the rookie, has struggled a little bit from Oregon, the highly recruited offensive lineman as a rookie. But Jared Goff has no one. Stop blame. Just blame yourself. As a coach, I'm a former coach. I never blame my players. Blame myself.
Let's examine this move, right? So they had the chance. They finally had a really good wide receiver in Detroit, Kenny Golladay, right? And they didn't think he could stay healthy enough or whatever their opinion was. I thought it was nuts to let him leave, right? And, of course, the Giants pay way too much for him. He has done absolutely nothing in New York. Both sides fail. This is one of those situations where you should have just been happy with what you had, both the Lions and Golladay, and came to some sort of an understanding there. And they would still have a star wide receiver. They have nobody at wide receiver. Nobody. The names at wide receiver, I've never even heard of these guys before.
No. It's like practice squad players. All right, let's move to the Raiders.
Watson or whatever.
Yeah, no, listen.
T.J. Hawkins
is a very good tight end.
He's a very good player.
They're starting to double team him. All right, the Raiders won. I actually predicted this on Sunday. I thought the Raiders would rally around. I think they're better than what Gruden was offering. And I got to be honest with you here. You talk about the first coach getting fired. Let's talk about Vic Fangio, because I have a lot of friends in Denver, and they are tired of his play calling. They are tired of his conservative ways, and Denver has lost 3 in a row. Now, they could turn things around in a short week, which needs to, and we'll get to in a minute, but this is a team, Denver, that everyone was talking, they're going to win 10, 11 games. They've lost 3 in a row. They've looked bad in all 3 losses, so they're spinning out of control, and good for the Raiders, overcoming what Gruden left was an absolute disaster. Good for them getting the win.
Yeah, I thought the Broncos defense would be a lot better, just like the Washington football team. I thought because they got healthy, and I would look at they look so good on paper, and then when you watch them, you're like, yeah, this is not good. So it's definitely coaching. So quarterback Teddy's not a bad quarterback.
I wasn't buying the Broncos at 3-0, and I'm not buying them now. Sorry.
All right,
no, I know that.
Marie, up to you, Texans. Not really a lot of time, but I will say this: they won 31. They lost 31-3, and I got to say the Colts are in good position here, even though they're only 2-4.
How amazing when you run Jonathan Taylor, what can produce? That's crazy. And then all your receivers are about 6'5" and up. So I don't think a lot of people are giving enough credit to Wentz. I know a lot of people think he's a bum or injury prone, which he is, but I think with the right play calling, I think the Colts are a lot. I think people overlook the Colts. I think they're a good team, and I'm not just saying that because
I'm loving the Jonathan Taylor because I have him in my fantasy, so that makes me happy.
God, he's incredible. So I know the Texans are trash, but it was still a division game, and so
Wentz is playing a little better.
Yeah, Wentz is playing a little better, but also it comes down to your offensive line, and the Colts are really banged up, have a lot of injuries. But you run the ball. They have 3 really amazing running backs. They got a good, amazing. Their secondary's really hurt right now, but on both sides, they're pretty balanced. So if they're healthy, they're good.
Hey, Marie, your boyfriend's a Colt fan, correct?
Yes, yes.
Is he starting to feel good about this team and hey, we're not as bad off as we were the first couple weeks?
He's still really upset about the Ravens game because everyone just likes to praise Lamar Jackson, and Carson Wentz had one of his best performances. And once again, it came down to their kicker being hurt. I mean, that was unfortunate, but they had their practice squad. They had their practice squad cornerbacks. I mean, he's not giving excuses either. He was just so mad that they're so up on the Ravens.
But I'm saying he's got to feel good because that division's terrible.
Yeah, no, he feels good. He loves his team. He just hopes they stay healthy, and they're a good team.
All right, Brad, call me in a game. What's that?
Oh, boxing!
The Ravens are so frustrating. They're so frustrating, dude. Like that's what I was just saying. Like you're telling me, like they were beat. They were beat by the Colts.
Oh, Kyle was so
Is
mad.
this the next? Is this the next game up? Can I talk about this game here?
Yes, it's the next game up.
All right,
Whoa,
please.
Herbert.
So
What happened?
Herbert.
watch
Not
what
his fault
happened.
really, but let's talk about Chargers. It's hard to come west to east, right, and play at what would be their 10 a.m. in the morning. I get that, right? And they play the 1 o'clock starts when a team comes west to east. Records are, it's like a huge discrepancy in record when teams do that, right? So the Chargers are at a disadvantage when they do that. But they're coming off that shootout of a game where both teams came out banged up, right? And the difference in this game, honestly, Lamar Jackson is throwing the ball really well from the pocket. I was shocked yesterday. Like, I didn't. He's like just sitting back there. He has all day to throw, so poised. It's like he's like playing backyard football. He's just better than everybody out there. And it was surprising. They ran the ball all over him, which isn't surprising. The Chargers can't stop the run at all. And so they naturally went to that. And here's the weird thing. It's like, okay, here's Staley again. He's going to go for it on 4th down at his own 20 again. He's going to go for it on 4th down at his own 40 again. But the difference this week is Herbert missed. I mean, it wasn't a difference of cover or anything. Herbert just missed the throws this week. And it's the total difference in the shaping of the game because he goes for it on 4th down. It's absurd. I don't get it. It is crazy to me that he's going for 4th down. He went for 4th down at his own 19-yard line yesterday, Monty.
Listen. He's. I don't like him as a coach. I think I've said this numerous times. I think Herbert's winning despite him. I'm talking offensively. Defensively, I think he's got a pretty good mind. But here's why I don't understand the hatred comes from Lamar Jackson. In his first year, they said, "Oh my goodness, he's not big enough. He's going to get hurt." What does he do in the off season? He gains like 15 pounds of muscle. Then they said, "Oh, this guy can't make throws." You watch him yesterday. You watch him a few weeks ago. This guy's dropping dimes all over the field. He's improved every year as a quarterback. And I know everyone wants to talk about Kyler Murray. They lost their first 3 running backs. They have like 15 players on the IR. They're 5-1. How is Lamar Jackson not the MVP of the league right now? He's getting better every year.
Yeah, so, he looks good throwing the ball right now, but he's done this before, right? He's gone through stretches where he's looked really good throwing the ball. It's like he doesn't, I don't know if it's sustainable, right? Like if you could keep him in the pocket and make him throw it outside the numbers, I don't know if he could do it. I don't think he could do it. Right.
But he has gotten much better.
Absolutely. Yesterday he looked great. He had all day to throw, and he had time to set his feet, and he looked, his feet looked great.
He didn't
he was
do
moving
much
around.
also. Latavius Murray had a game.
Yeah,
the running
but
game.
he threw the ball really well.
And
I mean, they had Bateman back yesterday, and I mean, he threw the ball really well yesterday. So, yes, he does at times. He looks really good throwing the ball. I think if you could just keep him in the pocket, keep him from throwing the sidearms and stuff, I think you would. That's the best way to defend him. It's just nobody can do it because he's such an elite athlete.
He's played great. He's carried that team with all their injuries, and God bless Harbaugh. I know he's not my favorite guy, but they're not making any excuses with all their injuries. Everyone's banged up, and they just go out and do their thing. All right.
And Lamar is improving.
He's improving. I'm just going to talk real quick about the Cowboys. We'll take a break, then we'll close out the show with Brad previewing the Bronco game, and then we'll talk about where the Vikings are at. But one of the things that, Bill Belichick is now 9-13 without Brady. I said this yesterday. Brady won the divorce. But one of the things that really frustrated me yesterday is 4th and 1 at the 48, he punts the ball. 4th and 2 at the 50, he punts the ball. If this is let Mac Jones make some plays, and even worse, in overtime, they're at the 45, 46. It's 4th and 2. They punt the ball. I said to my dad watching the game with him, I said, "Dad, game's over. Dallas is going to come down and score." Bill Belichick, I forgot about this because he was like this before Brady. He was like this the first 2 years with Brady. He was so conservative yesterday. Let Mac Jones You're not going to stop the Cowboys. They have an elite offense. They're number 2 in almost every category in rushing the ball and third down conversion in yards. Bill Belichick was so conservative with Mac Jones, he treats him like a baby.
Well, he's a rookie quarterback.
But again, 4th and 2, 4th and 1, 4th and 3. Justin Herbert as a rookie, they went for it. Kyler Murray, and it's a different mindset. Offensive coaches go for it. I don't understand. You cannot give Dallas back the ball there and expect to hold them when your team was gassed the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah, the last one was really egregious. The one where they punted it away to him, and you can't expect to get the ball back there. That was a terrible play. The funny thing about that is, Monty, is that Belichick was ahead of his time with going for it on 4th down years ago, right? Like, he did it all the time with Brady, and they would always never try to give the ball back to the other team. But now that he has Mac Jones, he wants to punt it on every situation and let his defense try to get him back in games or try to turn people over or whatever. I'm not sure what New England is. Like, I thought they were going to turn into something better. I'm not sure what they are. And I'm going to say this about the Cowboys. I know everybody is really, really high on the Cowboys right now. I just want to pump the brakes just a little bit. Like, strength of schedule, okay, right? A little bit. I will say this. I know I said that I thought that the Green Bay Packers had the 3rd best running back combo in the NFL. I do think the Cowboys have the 2nd best running back combo in the NFL. But I am not.
Elliott, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about the Cowboys. I'm not sold 100% yet. Greg is going to be mad at me. You're going to get mad. You're shaking your head at me already. I just am not sold that they are the elite of the NFC yet.
No, I agree with that. I don't trust Greg McCarthy, Mike McCarthy with timeouts, time and score. And I will say this, Dallas defensively, I'm still not sure that, they'll give up a big play here and there, but they're playing well. And the reason why I'm shaking my head is not because I'm disagreeing with you. They're in a terrible division. There's no one in that division that can put up any points.
Yeah. I mean,
they
their
play the
offense
Vikings
is very
next.
good.
They play the Vikings next on Halloween.
Their offense is very good. I just don't know how good their defense is in the long run.
All right, Marie, let's break down 3-3 on the season. What does the Vikings need to do to improve? How are you feeling as a Viking fan moving forward? Is this a playoff team?
Is a playoff team. Like I said at the beginning of the show, when I was just venting, I apologize. I've had my Vizzy now, so I feel a little better. Again, stop settling for mediocrity, okay? Like, Zimmer, come on, dude. Look at the team you've had. Look at the players you've had. Believe in your team, okay? I'm giving us a B- because I cannot believe that. By the way, the Cardinals shouldn't be undefeated, sir.
Yeah, but
people.
You got to be happy with you got to be happy with your 3rd or 4th wide receivers coming up big.
Oh no, he's not wide receiver 3. I mean, DD John. Like, I like DD, but like KJ Osborne's our dude. But I'm not saying people think I'm not satisfied with the win yesterday. This has just been my life as a Vikings fan in general. The conservative play calling, you have really good teams. I mean, look at that offense. Our defense when it's healthy. But yeah, so I'm just going to B- with the kicks and just with Zimmer's. I know it's Clinton Kubiak, but just the conservative play calling overall. But I am happy. Like, that's not a bad grade. I hold us to a standard, which they should too as well. I don't want to be a 9-win team anymore.
Listen, as a Jet fan, I would still
and go lose an NFC championship every 10 freaking years. I'm over it.
Brad and I have no idea what that's about.
I'm over it. Sorry.
All right. I'm talking with Marie and Brad Ward live on the Full Monty Sports Show. Make sure to give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel. Brad, quick turnaround here. Could be a good thing after a bad loss. You wash it off your hands. You play Thursday. Break this game down against the Denver Broncos. Are you really concerned about the injuries here? And who's playing running back?
Yeah, I mean, Dearness Johnson is going to probably be your running back. I don't know if Nick Chubb will play. If I had to put money on it, I would probably say that he would play. Odell played better yesterday, except for his fourth and 3 drop, which was crucial. Another 4th and 3 drop, back to back weeks, but he played a lot better yesterday. Had like 4 or 5 catches for 70 some yards or whatever. This game is a game. It's almost a must win for the Browns. Like they can't go 3-4, and they are up against it. Like every football team in the NFL, and you know this going in, and coaches say it all the time. You're gonna face adversity, right? You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna have injured players. It's next man up. It may even be Case Keenum on Thursday, but you have to be able to go out at home on Thursday Night Football and find a way. I don't care how ugly it is. You can muck it up. Run it, 100 times, whatever you have to do, but you have to go out and beat this Broncos team at home on Thursday night and get into your mini bye and start to get healthy again. You don't need to be playing your best football now. You need to be playing it in 2 months, but you also can't lose your race to the playoffs now at the same time. That's why this game is so important. 3-3 is not awful unless they let it turn into 3-4.
Hey, Marie, a big question. What's the flavor of the day for your Vizzy?
Oh, it's watermelon passion fruit.
Okay. That's a great commercial right there. Look how happy she was. Okay,
Yeah.
Brad, so your prediction, do the Broncos upset them, or is this Cleveland taking care of business and they win?
They find a way to win.
Okay.
Maybe Case Keenum leading the way.
Okay.
I've
All right.
been there. He can get the job done.
Let's talk. Yeah, Bills 4 straight Super Bowl losses. All right, let's talk about the Bills tonight.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Buddy.
Brad and Monty, myself, we're 7-2. A. Marie, you're 5-4. Winner gets a $100 gift card, American Express gift card. Brad, start with you. Bills 4 straight games by 18 or more points. That is the second longest record since 1970. But if there's a way to beat the Bills,
Let's go, Bills.
it's to run the ball. Who do you like, Brad?
I like the Bills big. Bills big. I'm not a Texans believer this year. Or a Titans believer. Or a Texans believer. Either one.
Bills,
Titans.
30. I'm going Bills 37-14. Let's go.
Wow. I'm taking the Bills too, 33-20. I think the first half will keep it close, and then the Bills run away with it. And who wins Thursday, A-Marie? Denver or Cleveland?
The Brownies.
I'm going with Denver.
Oh, of course you are, Monty. You freaking hometown quarterback hating son of a gun. You would.
Even though the Browns are injured, I think they're the better team. And I think the Broncos look good on paper, but I'm just not buying it.
Justify that pick. That pick.
The only reason I'm going with it is because if this was playing on Sunday, of course I'm picking the Browns. I don't think Baker Mayfield's going to start. I don't think their 2 running backs are going to start. So I think they're going to be playing with third stringers.
Yeah, at maybe a couple positions. Yeah, I mean, I still think they can beat the Broncos. I do. I think Stefanski will scheme them up. I think they'll bounce back. They really came out flat and looked like crap. They haven't lost 2 games. This first time they've lost two games in a row under Stefanski since he's been here. There's no way they lose 3 in a row. I don't think he lets it happen. They're really facing adversity, but they'll rally around it and find a way to get it done.
Let's go, Browns.
Final question for you, A. Marie. Is your head coach going to be back next year?
No. Unless
you're saying playoffs. Even if they make the playoffs.
No.
Is he really on that big of a hot seat down? There's no way he's on that bad of a hot seat.
Actually, if we make the playoffs, he'll still be there.
Okay, Anne-Marie, how can we follow you?
At Part-Time Bro in my little window here. Follow me on everything. You can follow my comedy when I'm on the radio, when I'm on TV or podcast or whatever. Just follow Part-Time Bro. On all platforms, all 18 million of them.
We will
Monte,
see you next week.
Promote at the beginning of the show. You're like, it takes half the show to promote all your social media platforms.
Yes. Listen, anytime you do something, hit me up. I will repost.
I will.
I always tag you guys. Tag me back.
I will.
All right. Thanks so much. Brad, when is your next show?
Tomorrow night, I got a AMA going. Ask me anything. So go ahead on my timeline and submit your questions. Browns related, anything related. I'll answer them all.
All right, Brad. We'll see you next week. Great job as always. Thanks for dropping the F-bomb, by the way, to start the show. Loved
Yeah,
it.
sorry to everybody out there. Earmuffs.
Listen, we have good lawyers at Nuts and Bolts Sports, so don't worry about it. We'll be fine.
Yeah,
We'll
sorry
see you next
sorry
week,
about
Brad.
that. Nuts
All
and
right,
bolts.
take care.
Sorry.
Those guys do a great job. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Make sure to watch us Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We break down every game in Week 7, and then we do this Monday show. Starting to get a little momentum here. Some people don't even know that we were doing a Monday show. Obviously, my co-hosts are phenomenal. Really appreciate the chats. Really appreciate the comments. And in the immortal words of NSYNC, bye, bye, bye.